The post-holiday surge is here. The OCTA research team says the COVID-19 reproduction rate is now at 1.13. While local government units have started procuring vaccines, the national government says we may have to wait until mid-2022 to complete mass vaccination. The palace tells Filipinos to stop being choosy when it comes to COVID-19 vaccines. This does not sit well with some other government officials and even health experts. Baguio's annual Panagbenga Festival will push through this year, but without the Grand Flower Parade. And the cold never bothered some Filipinos anyway. Local tourists even trooped to Tagaytay to feel the amihan chill.
Sabi po kasi malamig daw. Tinry lang namin kung malamig. Malamig nga.
Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's everything you need to know as you jumpstart your day. I'm Charles Lejano. Kicking off today's newscast with a warning from the OCTA research team. The reproduction rate, or R-naught, of COVID-19 in Metro Manila has increased to 1.13. Speaking with 1PH's Sa Totoo Lang, Professor Guido David said the number of cases in NCR has reverted to about 400 per day from the 300 per day recorded during the holidays. David explained that this can be attributed to the resumption of full operations of testing centers, although he also insisted that the situation is still manageable.
So basta greater than 1, nag-aalanganin na tayo. Pero hindi pa naman overly concerning kasi it's possibly yung backlog. Pero marami tayong points to be concerned about. Firstly, hindi pa natin nakikita yung clear picture kasi kakabalik lang ng testing natin. So that's point number 1. Point number 2, yung procession. Hindi natin maalam yung magiging effect nito. It could cause a surge. And we won't see the effect until 1 to 2 weeks.
Though the country is expecting its first batch of COVID-19 vaccines as early as February, it may take the government until mid-next year to inoculate most of the population. Still, officials are convinced that our vaccine program is right on time. Man Los Baños with the story.
Vaccine czar Carlito Galvez and Health Secretary Francisco Duque have laid out the country's vaccination plan in today's Senate hearing. The officials say they aim to start the vaccination program in February. Galvez says negotiations with different pharmaceutical companies have been successful so far, as the government plans to procure millions of doses from various brands.
Our main volumes will be coming from Novavax with 30 to 40 million doses. Pfizer, we are negotiating for higher volumes, more or less 40 million, and AstraZeneca, 25 to 30 million doses, and Sinovac and Gamaleya for 25 million each. We might be receiving more or less 40 million doses from COVAX for 20 to 30 million people. The main bulk of the vaccines that will be rolled out will be at the third quarter, at fourth quarter of this year.
The first batch of vaccinations is slated from the 3rd or 4th week of February. According to Galvez and Duque, the best case scenario would be if the government inoculates 50 to 70 million Filipinos this year. This with health workers as priority. The health department also plans to vaccinate around 300 people daily in each of its 4,500 vaccination sites.
We are on track to providing immunization services to 50 to 70 million Filipinos, provided again that the global supply of vaccines are sustained or even increased within this year. Kung kakayanin ng mga manufacturer na atin na enlist, best case scenario ay makakamit natin ang herd immunity po ngayong taon.
Galvez admits that they're facing limitations in acquiring shots, as 80% of the global supply have already been pre-procured by rich countries, while the Philippines will have to try their best to get a share from the remaining supplies.
We will be able to purchase at least 148 million doses from 7 pharmaceutical companies, with more than 100 million doses has been fully secured for production.
With this, the country's vaccination program might be extended to up to 2nd or 3rd quarter of 2022. Despite this, the government is expected to receive fully subsidized Pfizer and Sinovac vaccines through the COVAX facility this February. Some senators are blaming government officials for the delays in vaccine procurement due to their supposed slow action.
But it's in the implementation. Yung reaction, yung responses, to emergencies. Sabi niya, your officials, the Philippine officials, keep flirting with us, referring to the vaccines. But we need their commitment. And they don't want to commit. So the allocations, yung stocks na dapat naka-allocate sa Pilipinas, sabi niya, pag hindi kayo kumilos, we'll just give it to other countries.
But Galvez insists we are on time. He says countries may have secured first-tier orders since they have money to pay immediately. As for the approval of emergency use authorization, the Food and Drug Administration says their decision on Pfizer's application will be out this week, while Moderna's will be by mid-January. Senators also questioned why the government seems to monopolize the procurement of vaccines since private sectors and LGUs are not allowed to purchase directly from manufacturers.
It's a safety concern po kasi hindi po approved product itong gagamitin natin. It's a product that we're using under emergency use. Pag ganun po, yung mga kumpanya, hindi rin po sila nag-take ng responsibility para sa kanilang produkto. Ang national government po will take responsibility for using a product that is still under development.
Reporting for News 5, Mean Los Baños, we are One News.
Former National Task Force Advisor Tony Leachon emphasized that the public has a right to choose a COVID-19 vaccine. This comes after Palace spokesperson Harry Roque said that Filipinos should not be choosy when it comes to the COVID vaccine brand that they will receive. In an interview with 1PH's Sa Totoo Lang, Leachon said that the national government should listen to the public's qualms against less effective and less safe vaccines. And for him, there's only one way to convince the reluctant public to get vaccinated.
Kahit pilitin ng mga Pilipino hindi magpapa-inject yan. And I think it's a challenge for them kung gusto nilang i-boost up yung confidence ng Pilipino, sila una magpa-inject.
Here are the biggest stories from the dailies. From the Philippine Star, Libungan, North Cotabato Mayor Christopher Kwan was shot dead on Monday. Kwan was inspecting a cockpit under construction when 4 unidentified assailants opened fire. The mayor survived an earlier attempt on his life back in 2019 when an armed man stormed the municipal hall to gun him down. Kwan was included in President Duterte's narco list. Sin tax collections have exceeded targets in 2020. That's after the BIR collected almost 290 billion pesos from excise taxes on cigarettes, sweetened drinks, and alcoholic beverages. However, Business World reports that the tally is still significantly lower compared to the pre-pandemic targets of over 332 billion pesos. Over in Cebu, the Freeman reports that all physical masses for the ongoing novena for the Fiesta Señor have been canceled. This as thousands have been gathering at the Basilica Minore del Santo Niño daily, despite the threat of the pandemic. The Basilica announced that the remaining novena masses until feast day of January 17 will be streamed online. Though Sinulog 2021 is officially canceled, another big festival up north will be pushing through. Baguio City will be celebrating its Panagbenga Festival, but without its famous flower parade. Mayor Benjamin Magalong explains that this is part of their safety precautions amid the pandemic. Magalong adds that the LGU has become more cautious after learning its lessons from events over the holiday season, like the Christmas tree lighting and the reopening of the night market.
Ang may iwan na lang is yung landscaping, that's Baguio in bloom. And then after that, yung Session Road in bloom na lang. We hope that itong Panagbenga, we can invite more visitors.
The prevailing amihan season is sending chills to some parts of the country. How are tourists taking advantage of the cold weather? Let's find out in this report from Laila Pangilinan.
It was a sweater weather in Tagaytay. Temperature dropped to 17 degrees Celsius. And this family in Batangas wants to experience the chill firsthand.
Sabi po kasi malamig daw. Tinry lang namin kung malamig. Malamig nga.
Ang tagal po talaga sa bahay, naka-standby sa bahay. Ngayon lang po talaga, kaya sulit na sulit ang pagpunta namin dito sa Tagaytay.
The windy and chilly weather is felt best at the People's Park, one of the highest peaks in the city. But better hold on to your face shield, as strong winds will be sure to snatch it away. Joyce and her family regulars here and admits it's much colder now than in previous years.
Malamig po, pero masaya naman po kasi nakaka-enjoy kasama yung family namin.
Vendors in the area have been experiencing the frigid weather for a few days straight, but they said that the cool weather came a bit late.
3 araw na pong ganito, sobrang lamig. 3 days na po. Nami-miss nga namin noong December, wala pa rin noong December. Ngayon po January, basta meron.
PAGASA says that the chilly weather in Tagaytay, as well as in most parts of the country, was brought by the Amihan or Northeast Monsoon.
Because of the presence of high-pressure cells sa Asia, yung mga malamig na hangin doon ay nakakarating ng hanggang dito sa Pilipinas. Yun po yung tinatawag nating amihan during the months of November to February.
Garden and plant shop owners welcome the cold season as plants are not often watered during the cold weather, saving them money and energy. But the strong winds are a different story.
Para po kasing may bagyo, lakas. Napamansin nyo naman na talagang sobra. At tinatago na lang po namin. Pagkatapos po namin magsara sa gabi, pinapasok po namin sa loob.
In Benguet, a netizen shared on social media that plants are now covered in frost due to the icy cold weather. For News 5, Laila Pangilinan, We Are One News.
Here are the stories to watch out for later today. It's been exactly 1 year since the Taal volcano erupted. Some residents in Batangas are still trying to get back on their feet. Over in the U.S., the FBI warns of possible armed protests across all 50 states ahead of President-elect Joe Biden's inauguration. And pump prices are up. Prices of regular gas increased by up to 85 centavos per liter, while diesel is up by 30 centavos per liter. Kerosene, on the other hand, will also go up by 25 centavos per liter. And that's how the day is shaping up to be. Join us later at 10 a.m. as we monitor the day's biggest stories from sunrise to sundown. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Just register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Charles Lejano. We are One News.